My mom has seen me.
Her mom has made it very aware.
My mom has made it very aware.
That we cuss.
Yeah.
She doesn't like it.
Ooh, okay.
She says when I cuss, it sounds like I'm trying too hard.
And you cuss
Just
the
the
most
F
out of
word.
all
I
of
know.
us.
It's just the
Really?
F word. She said that it sounds like it's unnatural coming out of your mouth.
Your body is
but it's
rejecting
probably
it.
because she's seen you as
Only
a
as an innocent child.
Yes.
Yeah, you're a baby.
It's true.
Forever.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
And Jackie. Shout out because we know you're listening.
Love you, Mom.
Okay. Hey, everybody. I'm Alex.
I'm Chloe.
I'm Allison.
And this is Traumedy. And
Yes,
we're
it
so
is.
excited because today we have on the show the incredibly talented Erin Darling.
Thank you guys so much for
Thank you.
having me.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah, I'm so excited to explore my traumedy with you guys.
Yes, we're going to find out what is your traumedy.
It's so fun.
I was hoping you would sing.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, it's going to happen.
That's all we do.
That's all we do
Can
here.
we make a chord?
You
well,
wanna try
I
it?
can't sing.
Oh, yeah, so it's be a part of our
Okay.
I
Okay.
do.
historical chords.
So Allison has to start it, right?
Allison always has to start
What
it.
am I saying?
Welcome back. That's what
Oh,
we do.
welcome back. I forgot.
Wait,
Okay.
what do you like? Are you a high? Mid? What would you like to come in?
I'm versatile. I can do anything.
So why don't you take the top when we
okay,
get there?
okay.
Great.
Lovely.
Guys, this
Okay.
is my least favorite thing. Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Welcome
I'm focusing so hard. I was staring straight at the table.
That was actually, honestly, that was pretty good.
That was gorgeous.
Well done.
If I
Great.
do
That
say
was-
so.
Yeah. Really on the spot.
Really? I thought that was higher than I thought it was going to be.
You're like,
So I
oh,
was like,
shit.
Ooh, let me squeeze this one
You nailed
out.
it. You nailed it.
Oh my God.
When I laugh to get through it, don't feel bad for me. That's just my traumedy.
Fun fact. Dad?
Move Brad?
Alex's dad, Brad, owned a Radio Shack.
We had a
Really?
Radio Shack franchise. Bradley Electronics presents Radio Shack.
Oh my gosh, cute.
R.I.P.
Yeah, too bad, right?
Yeah.
They're gone.
But they still have a life-size cutout of Shaquille
Shaquille
O'Neal
O'Neal.
from it.
Really?
Wow.
Yes, a lot of my trauma came from our time at Radio Shack because as a Radio Shack franchise, he would have to like follow Radio Shack rules. And there was one point in the 90s when Radio Shack was advertising their new TVs. So they were sending music videos on DVD. This is how I saw secular music videos because it had Britney Spears' Stronger, Steps, The Way You Make Me Feel, a Backstreet Boys song, Ricky Martin, and he had to play it. But when we would come into the Radio Shack, he would not let us watch them.
Oh.
But I would be like,
Well, clearly, because you remember what was on it.
and sorry,
Yeah,
this
very
is so funny.
formative.
One time he had to host a Jewel concert in the Radio Shack.
She was there?
No, it was like
Oh.
being streamed
Oh, like
into
cast,
Radio Shack.
live cast.
Gotcha.
Yeah, something like that. So in preparation for that, they sent 10,000 bags of popcorn with her logo on them. And my dad being
10,000?
10,000.
That's
We
so
ate that
many.
popcorn for 5 years. And it was Black Jewel, so it wasn't even the good kind.
It's
Yeah.
true. Black Jewel's
The worst. It's
I
like her
don't even know what
grandmother's.
that
Black Jewel
is.
popcorn is like it's like dark,
There's no flavor.
no flavor, and it tastes burnt.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
it's
it's
a
very dark
It's a very
inside.
specific flavor of popcorn.
Yeah.
Anyway, yes.
Ma'am.
Do you like Black Jewel? We have another special guest here
okay.
today. We have another little pup on the pod, Ripkin. Right? Yeah, that's Rip.
Ripkin, who I had a feeling was going to get mouthy. I should go grab her.
Okay. So here on the Traumedy Pod, Erin, as you may be familiar with, we if we have a guest, we always start with an origin story.
Because why? We love
We love an origin
We
story. Hundo P.
Any other taglines you want to
Yeah,
get out?
let me
right
get them
now?
all out
Our friend
here.
Megan?
Our friend Megan. Don't
Indianapolis Airport.
Indianapolis
and don't forget to
Airport.
shop at Meyer.
Yeah. All right, we're good.
Okay.
No
sorry,
idea
Erin.
what's going
so
on.
sorry. So Erin is here today because Erin and I are friends. We met working this little pop-up event at the Grove. Like, was that in 2018? It would have been,
think it
right?
was.
Yeah, December of
Yeah.
2018. And there was quite a few people came and went in this, and I actually ended up working longer for this company. But from that experience, I took away 3 really great relationships, and one of them was Erin.
Yeah.
And
Wait, was Erin the one that you guys saw Stacey Orico with?
we're gonna talk about it.
Okay.
We're gonna
Okay,
get into
glad.
it. And then yes, so I've known Erin we've known each other since then, hung out a few times and gotten closer over the couple years, and here we are. So, can you tell our listeners a little bit about yourself and your fabulous life?
Yeah, so I'm a comedian and a podcaster. My podcast is called Hot Pizza Ass, which I launched probably like not too long
right after that?
we met.
Yeah.
Which kind of started as I would say like kind of in the body positivity space, but kind of transformed it to more of like a self-love story with people that I interview. And then I also have a show on Spotify called Popspiracy, which is about pop culture conspiracies.
Love it.
And I act and write, and that's pretty much my little blurb about myself.
And you're from California?
I'm from Northern California.
Northern California, that's right.
So what is your most believable pop conspiracy?
Most believable?
Yeah, like what do you believe the most?
Oh, yeah. Is there one standout?
Yeah, that you're like, actually, that's true.
Well, like the one that we did this past week on our show was the wedding industrial complex. And that is true. You know, like the wedding industry was set up to make people spend exorbitant amounts of money. Like De Beers created the whole, it's not technically a conspiracy, but you know, I consider it a conspiracy because
they conspire
sell
to
you the
do
diamonds
it.
and tell you how much is acceptable to spend on it for someone that you love.
Yeah.
So I think that's very real.
I feel like finally our generation that's the age now of that's getting married or like maybe a little bit younger than us is finally breaking out of that and being like, no, I would rather spend all that money on a house because it's so hard to buy a house. Our friends that are engaged, that's what they started planning it. And then they were like, wow, this is so much money. We would rather just buy a house in Palm Springs and just then have people over to the house. So I feel like that's like now finally being broken a little bit to not feed into it so much.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's your own choice. No judgment if people want to have a crazy big wedding.
For sure.
And if you just want to go on a bomb honeymoon.
Right.
Like,
which is
do
what
that.
I would want.
Yeah.
100%.
Like, go to Bali for 2 months. Like it costs probably not even comparable.
Yeah.
No.
Coming from someone who worked in the wedding industry as a florist for years, and my mom also did the same. I can definitely see, like, even from when I first started working in the industry, like in 2015, 2016, like the weddings and the budgets and everything have slowly just gone down and down and down and down, and people are just figuring it out themselves, buying some things here and there, like maybe they'll get a flower crown and make their own
Like
bouquet.
more DIY.
Yeah. So I definitely think you're right that like our generation is like,
F that.
Yeah.
I would rather not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's real. And Popspiracy came about because you kind of popped off on TikTok, right?
Yeah. We launched over the pandemic this TikTok page, which is called Conspiracy Seriously, where we were talking about pop culture conspiracies. I don't know what that accent was. That just
But I
came
love it.
out. But, you know.
We like accents here.
Yeah, we love a good accent.
Yeah.
Was there one particular video that popped off that kind of...
Yeah, you know, I made this series that took us from like a very mediocre TikTok to like a very big one. And I made this 3-part series about Beyonce, about the conspiracy that she faked her pregnancy. A lot of the people that watched this actually were very angry about these videos. What I did was I traced it back from, because we are not trying to say that she did or she didn't.
Yeah.
But I basically traced it back to the beginning of where the rumor or the conspiracy started. It started on Wendy Williams. So,
oh my God.
Yeah. Which
Had no idea.
It always
she
comes back
did
to Wendy.
some wild stuff on her show that would never fly today. Like she had one of her staffers come out who was pregnant, and then someone else come out with like a balloon or something inflatable and had them both sit down, because there was a foreign talk show that Beyonce did where she sat down and her belly deflated. Allegedly. And that's where a lot of these rumors started.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And so she was the first one to call it a conspiracy and had people reenact it. And so there's a lot of ways that kind of set other things off and created this big like steamroller effect where people kept talking about it. And a lot of people were actually upset about this series, but it got a lot of attention. People were fascinated by this.
I'm fascinated right now.
I am too.
I wasn't expecting it at all, really.
Yeah.
You know, and like ultimately at the end of the day, it's like people just see a video, like it shows you a video. TikTok will show you a video. You don't even get the full context if you're making multiple videos. At the time, nothing was over 60 seconds. And like at the end of the third video, I was basically just saying like, we have, you know, no right to what her decisions are. And if she did decide to use a surrogate, that's really none of our business. But of course, people see like one slice of that and decide to get, you know, feel a certain way about it.
Well, and as soon as they start commenting, if they're angry, then that just boosts the video, and then it's going to so many more people. And so it's just like a snowball effect. If that many people are like, this is, you're being so mean. It's just like, well, you're giving me engagement and you're really pushing my video to a lot more people. So
yeah, it's a really interesting phenomenon, how all of TikTok works, to be honest. Yeah.
Okay, Erin, I wanted to talk about this a little bit because 3 of the 4 of us have something in common here, and it is that we've all seen the same reader, Gall. So this Erin was the first of my friends to see him after I did. And I want to talk about it a bit because one of the dates he gave me just happened, and what he said would happened. He told me that I would be resolving a conflict with a female authority figure in my life, and then in March, and that happened on March 1st, like a pretty big thing I was able to get out of and finally resolve. So, whoa.
That's crazy. Whoa.
And then you saw him when did you see him?
I saw him in December.
Okay. What was your experience? Do tell.
Now we're in the beginning of March, and same thing. Everything that he said was true. He knew I was a writer. He was like, you're meant to do something like this. And I was like, that's hilarious because I'm a writer.
Yeah.
And he basically told me that at the time I was going through some relationship stuff.
Yeah.
I guess I still kind of am. But I had questions about that because I made a really, really difficult decision in the beginning of the summer to break up with someone who I really loved and cared about, but I felt like it wasn't right.
Yeah.
So at that point in time, I was kind of like, did I make the right choice? Like, there's been a lot of months that have gone by. I still think about this person. So there was a lot up in the air, and I kind of like asked him about that.
Okay.
And he said, this happened during eclipse season when you broke up with this person. It expedited everything. You were meant to break up. Don't second guess your choice. You were right.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. And what happened, I mean, I don't even know if I can say this, but I did kind of get involved. I opened the door back up a little bit with that.
Yeah.
And it ended anyway. And it was so clear, and it was so obvious that like, this is not the same person. It's not the person that like I fell in love with. So for me, it was like, okay, this is like I feel like that was so right.
Yeah.
He also mentioned some things that like, I was kind of like, I don't know if I'm on like, does this make sense? I asked him about my dog. I was fostering this dog who I fell in love with, who passed away. And I was like, what should I do with the dog? And he mentioned, don't make any decisions right now, because I didn't know if I could take care of him. He had a lot of medical needs. And I was trying to figure out if I could place him or adopt him with someone I knew so I could co-parent, because I travel a lot. I'm gone a lot for work. Sometimes I'm on set somewhere else for long periods of time, and it's all like at the drop of a hat. So I wanted to make sure that this dog had a family. And I thought I found an adopter. I wasn't 100% sure how this would all go down. But yeah, he basically mentioned like, this is not your decision to make. Keep him for now. I kept the dog, and he passed in January. And I was like, that's exactly how it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
Not to make a decision, to keep the dog, and then he could stay with me for the rest of his life. And I didn't have to make that choice anyway.
Right.
That was wild too.
Wow.
I also had an aunt that I lost like 2 days after, maybe 3 or 4 days, I think, after I lost this dog. And he also addressed that. I asked a question. I was like, I have a family member who's very sick. And he said, she's starting a new journey. And he drew the Fool card. He's like, this is new beginnings. And then he said, maybe this is going to come back to you. There's 2 babies on this card. He's like, don't be surprised if you get pregnant and she comes back to you. And I was like, that's hilarious.
That's lot. Yeah.
Now that I'm very single, but I guess you never know.
Yeah. Okay. True.
But all of like it hasn't been that much time that has elapsed, so I still have more to see. But a lot of his predictions were super accurate. Yeah,
That's pretty wild.
and they made sense to me, especially as time has gone by. It makes more sense to me
as it sits in more. And
yes,
that's crazy.
Yeah.
And then what was your take, like your experience? We haven't talked about it on here.
Yeah, I feel like I don't know that from what you guys have both divulged. A lot of yours was about like the future and planning and things.
Yes.
I wanted to know myself in the present. I wanted to like see, you know, kind of what might have happened in like a past life that's affecting this life, you know, things like that. I just wanted to know more about myself.
Yeah.
And so he told me that in a past life, I was a famous French writer in Paris.
Love
and that I had stepped on a lot of people to get what I wanted in that past life. And I still carry that guilt for mistreating people in my current life. And so I'm always worried that I'm not a good person in this life. And that's something that I've been dealing with a lot.
Yeah.
And it was super interesting because I had been texting. I got there super early. I don't know if you did too. I got there like 30 minutes early.
I did too. Yeah.
And I just
I was
like,
so nervous
sat in
about
my
the park.
car. Yeah,
I was like, I don't know where I'm going to park.
nervous about the parking.
Yeah. It was so easy though.
It was. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I was texting one of my friends because some like drama had happened at work and I felt kind of bad about the way that I was behaving. And so I texted her and I was like, I just feel so guilty for how things went. I just want to like move on, move past this and just stay a positive person. And she goes, you feel bad because you're a good person, but you don't think that you are. She literally said that to me. And then I walked through his door and he told me the exact same thing.
Wow.
And so I just started like crying because it was like really validating.
Yeah.
But yeah, he said that I'm a very intuitive person. And so a lot of the things he said, you probably already know about yourself, which is funny because like I felt like I didn't know myself at all. But then when he was saying things, it was like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Like he told me that I benefit better from like a pescatarian diet. And I was vegetarian. I was pescatarian for like years.
You were, yeah.
And so I like had already known those things about me, but like, I just like, they didn't click, I guess. I don't know. I feel like it's always good to have that like third party person be like,
oh yeah,
you are like this.
Yeah.
And, he said that like having my home be like cozy and well decorated and clean is very good for my mental health. And also like kind of my love language is acts of service. And so like someone cleaning my house is the ultimate form of I love you. And how many times have I gotten in an argument with my live-in boyfriend about this?
Wait, Chloe, what are your signs?
I'm a Cancer.
Rising?
Cancer sun.
Okay.
And he said I'm a very classic Cancer. And then I have
Do you remember your rising sign?
Rising Sag? No, Virgo rising Sag moon.
That's so funny because I'm a Sag sun and a Cancer rising.
Oh.
And
Wow.
there's a lot of similarities.
A lot of the same
Yeah.
stuff,
Yeah.
like how the house of intuition and stuff. Super weird. But yeah, and he said that that me and my mom and my sister were like, we've been in like many lives together and we have this like crazy unique bond. And he said at some point I was my mother's mother, but my sister,
It's the same thing to me.
Really?
Yes, like 5 of the things you've said
What?
are the exact same thing.
Oh my gosh, is he just like
Wait, didn't he say that to Karina too?
Yeah.
I don't know about this,
Weird.
guys.
Oh, but
Welcome to this week's episode of Conspiracy Seriously.
for real. But yeah, he told me that. Oh my gosh. Okay, so did he also tell you?
But the dates.
Oh, the dates.
Because yes, that sounds suspicious, but my dates have all been correct.
Yeah. So he did say.
Guys, I don't know.
Maybe it just means we're all the same, really.
Maybe, and that's how we found each other. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Maybe.
But he said also that the person that I'm with is my person, and he said, but the universe is going to show you a sign if he gets like a new job, a new promotion, or something between now and April 10th. Then your Saturn houses are the same house, or I don't even remember how he explained it, but yeah, he said if like something happens good to him at work, then that's how you'll know. That day he started a new job.
Whoa.
That day.
That is pretty wild.
Bonkers.
Wow, that's really, really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of like what specific dates and timelines. Oh, I asked him a question about a business relationship because I was like, I'm not sure about this. I don't know how I feel about this. And we talked about it briefly, and he kind of gave me a brief timeline for that of when I should be making like a new decision or entering into a new partnership for a new project. And he was right about that. It happened like around January, February. He's like, wait till this retrograde to end. And I did. And that was awesome.
Yeah. He told me June 25th. He said nothing about it, just June 25th. So who knows? He also told me not to, oh my gosh. So my sister is getting married.
This is funny.
And he told me to not plan anything between April 10th and April 28th. And if we do start planning, then 2 bad things will happen.
2?
It's not worth the risk.
Yeah. So I told my mom, I was like, Mom, we can't do anything April 10th through 28th. Sorry.
What is that? Wedding? 18 days? That's not bad.
It's June 4th.
So that's after the wedding.
April?
Right.
June comes
what
after
if something
April.
needs to be planned, or what if something needs to be secured?
It's a pretty chill wedding.
But he said, he was like, it won't be that big of a deal. It'll be like the caterer falls apart.
Yeah.
Or
We can't have that.
Can't have that.
Do not plan for those 18 days in April.
can't do it.
That's just a dramedy.
Yeah. But it was wild. Definitely wild. He also told me that like, I don't know if I told you this yet. He told me that an older male is going to come into my life and mentor me professionally.
Oh.
Yeah. He was
Wonder
like,
who
so look
that'll
out
be.
for that. Because like he had me pull a card for my career, and it was the Hierophant or something like that. And he was like, yeah, look out for an older male figure who is going to really help you in your professional career. He's going to counsel you and mentor you. And I'm like, doesn't have to be a man.
Yeah.
That's like exactly what my reaction would be too. I would instantly get nervous.
No.
Like, I don't like this.
Especially like an older male.
Maybe someone with like, maybe it's a woman with male energy.
I would
Maybe
love
it's
that.
a trans man.
Maybe.
Okay.
He also told me that I was a man and died horrifically in China, so I should never go back.
He told me that I was in one of my lives, I died in a very important battle.
Ooh.
And in another one, I was a ruler. And that was most recent because I am here in this life to see the other side of someone who is being ruled.
Whoa.
Okay, so to be just a normal
servant.
person.
I'm here to be normal, guys.
Yeah.
Let me serve you.
That's amazing. I love this.
Hilarious.
Yeah, he told me that some really important big things are going to happen to me in March and April. So
Okay.
who knows? Maybe that's when I get pregnant.
Whoa.
No, it's because
Oh, man.
you're on
You're
the
on the
Traumedy podcast.
Oh,
This is your big
Yeah.
moment.
Did he tell you anything about like where you should live or anything?
He did. Well, because I'm a Saggy, he's like, I'm surprised you're still in California. You're born here and that you're here. And he's like, I feel like he gave me a long list of cities that are good for me. But he's like, I think that this is something that you need to do more of. And which is weird because traveling has been a really big part of my life, like with work and projects I've done recently over the last couple of months. So I was like, yeah, I can actually see myself doing this more. I think that like my career path is probably going to go down this route for at least, a little bit.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll be around a little bit. Maybe I'll be a little less available here.
Okay.
Well, glad we got you now.
Yeah.
I still haven't been, and I don't know if I can. So that's
And that's okay.
I don't
I'll
have
send you
anything to add to
that's
this,
your
but
journey.
that's it.
That's your journey.
That's just her
Germany.
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 No.
Not a word.
I understand that too, but I do have a theory about that. And I always tell people this because whenever I'm like, yeah, I saw an astrologer read my birth chart, there's some people that are like, yeah, sweet. And there's some people that are like, I don't know about this.
Yeah.
But what I always say is that everything in like tarot cards, psychics, like all of it, it's entertainment. And I try to look at it like that no matter what. Like you're paying for entertainment. And
Okay,
think
I like that.
You take what works, you leave what doesn't.
Yeah.
You know?
Someone told you
And-
that.
Really?
I'm pretty sure Gall did.
I thought didn't someone
like,
tell you
"Listen,
like
bitch,
take
this
what
is
you want and leave
entertainment."
what you don't?
My therapist?
That's what it was. It was your therapist.
I think it was my
Yeah,
therapist.
she said take from it what you want and leave what you don't.
Because I told her that I was going,
Yeah.
and I was like, I know it's silly that like I want to go to this person who knows nothing about me to learn about myself, and she was like, well, take what you want and leave what you don't.
Totally.
My whole thing is like, you can't unhear something. So,
But you can suppress the memory of it.
which I'm good at. But like, if I hear something like, for example, like you're probably never going to fall in love or find someone like that. Like, even if that's something that I say, okay, I'm not gonna take that. I can't unhear it. And then what if that manifests and it's like a psycho, like,
yeah.
Like where I
understand that you get in your own head about it.
Yeah. That's what I'm most scared of. I'm not scared of like actually going and the conversations. It's like I can't unhear something that like I could use in my own brain to
self-sabotage.
Yeah. I'm currently having a little baby crisis.
Okay.
Just a tiny little,
little bitty one?
a cutie little crisis.
Let's hear.
Are we talking about it or no?
He told me
no.
that
We are.
basically my purpose in this life is to be a mother, and
Oh,
that
right.
like I'm supposed to
You'll be pregnant by
2025. I should have a baby because my body craves motherhood, and that my hormones are just gonna fix themselves as soon as I become a mother. He also said that the baby will be my brother reincarnated, but that's besides the point. So now I'm having this like crisis.
Do I want a baby?
Because like we all struggle with purpose, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh, my whole purpose is to just birth a thing. Like that's. I thought it would be more than that. So I'm just like having this weird crisis in my brain.
Hear it.
And he was like, he was like, the universe is constantly trying to prove to you that you can be a mother. And I'm like, no, it's not working. And so I'm like, so I get it. I can't unhear the fact that my body craves maternity. That's disgusting.
Yeah, what a weird way to say it.
You never know, though. You might feel differently in a year. You might be like,
true.
oh, it does.
Yeah, because you're about to turn 30, so that's
Well,
3 years.
I know. I'm terrified though. Like I've never really wanted children.
Yeah.
I've always said that since like college when you can really think about it.
Yeah.
But I never really wanted to go down that path. And then him telling me like, yeah, the universe is trying to convince you because you don't want it. Then like, hey, universe, get off my back. Maybe
let me live.
maybe let me like travel a little bit first.
Well, you got a couple years.
You got a couple years. You're going to Paris.
You're going back to your homeland where you were a writer.
Where
he
you
did
wrote
say
many
that it would
things.
just feel like home.
I'm anxious to hear if it does. Although now it's in your head, you'll just make it feel that way.
If I just walk in and I'm like,
I don't think that's true. I think that if you find it uncomfortable, like you're not gonna pretend like it is just for it to be right.
It's like
I would just
in
to
the
be
world.
silly.
Right.
You're gonna con me.
You're gonna
I'll
con
con you.
or just con yourself.
What if I just walk in and just start speaking fluent French?
You already kind of do. You've been on Duolingo for like a month.
I'm a Duolingo.
And you be texting in French.
Learning
and
it
I don't know what
all.
it is.
But like, what if I really do walk in there and I'm just like,
you like Raven Simone, like.
yeah.
I'll be excited.
I'm here for it.
And I'm just like,
I can't wait.
oui.
Just that.
That is
What's
fluent.
home in French?
Maison.
Maison. That's what you'll say as soon as you land.
I am maison.
Je habite ici.
Great.
I live here.
Oh,
I am live here. I think I do.
I am live here. Love it.
Perfect.
So getting into kind of what we wanted to talk about today. So really, we're doing a pod swap. So you'll see in the description, obviously, but we'll send you over to Erin's pods. Actually, can you tell everyone, like, why did you start Hot Pete's Ass? Because the story's really good.
So I started this podcast because the guy I was dating at the time, I had this idea, and we were in this mode. He was also creative, where we were like, we decided anytime we had a creative idea, we were just going to follow the impulse. Like, let's write a sketch, or let's make a video today or something. And I had this idea. I love stupid puns. that I wanted to have a picture of me with a slice of pizza on my butt so I could post it on Instagram and say I'm a hot pizza ass. And so
it's great.
It's so good.
I love that.
We went to Joe's Pizza. We picked out the perfect slices with like the perfect pepperoni placement and everything.
The PPP.
Yeah,
Perfect pepperoni placement.
the PPP. We go back to his place. We take the picture, and it's actually a really hot picture. But I was too nervous to post it. Too scared for months.
Yeah.
Probably like 3 months or I don't know. Maybe it's a long time ago now. But I remember like just getting really insecure about it and feeling. I was afraid I was going to get judged. All this shame came up. I also felt like, oh God, like how do I look? You know, am I every negative thought you could have about yourself, right?
For sure.
Came into my mind. And then eventually I somehow got the courage up. I just posted it and I changed the caption. I did say I'm a hot pizza ass, but I was like, but I love my body and I'm choosing to love it actively every single day. And like, this is a journey. And of course, people just saw the picture and it became like the most, like probably my most popular post I've ever posted. And I also lost a lot of followers.
Yep,
As you do.
Yeah,
we know.
And to me, that said something for so many reasons. Primarily because my own struggle with it, my own shame, and all the feelings I felt about that picture.
For sure.
And the reaction and response. I triggered something with that. And I knew that there was something there. And I wanted to explore it. And I also wanted to talk a little bit more about my journey because I never really had. I'd never really talked about the fact that I'd had an eating disorder, or that I felt like I wasn't good enough, or that I grew up in entertainment or entertainment adjacent.
Yeah.
And constantly being told to be smaller.
God,
and constantly believing that my success was tied into the size
Your
that
size.
I was.
Yep.
If it was not said to me explicitly, it was implied heavily.
Yeah.
I, like you, did pageants. I did modeling as a teenager. I moved to LA, went into broadcasting, acting, comedy. In every single aspect, I have been told what to wear, what to look like, what to do, what to not do when it came to my femininity, my body, and the way that I dressed. And it's all tied into that.
Yeah.
And this was my journey and my way of reclaiming it and making my story mine
Fuck yeah.
for the first time.
Yeah.
So that's how it started.
Very
I
cool.
love that.
Yeah.
So cool.
It's good.
And it's important too, because that is literally like, who hasn't dealt with that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
On some level.
And you know what's insane is 95% of like the female presenting population, that body type is completely unattainable. Like our bone structure doesn't work that way.
Right. I see what you're saying.
But it's like what we're seeing on film and TV represents 5% of the population.
Right.
You know, like, and we're supposed to be idolizing these people. We're supposed to fit into this box that literally 95% of us cannot fit into.
Yeah, it's such a huge problem. It's a problem within, you know, film, media, like the advertising industry, the content that we consume and what we see, the way people alter their images. It's a huge problem. But I think the way that I made my solution to it can only be an inside job, because I can't change the whole world.
For sure.
I can be loud about it and I can talk about it. Mm-hmm. I can be an advocate as much as I can. But, you know, for me, it was just like, I need to accept that this is me. I don't want to be dieting. I don't want to live my life thinking that my success is tied into being a smaller size. I could live my whole life walking into rooms, like looking like an after if there was a before, like if I had lost 25 pounds, and I could still walk into a room and have someone tell me I still needed to get smaller. It has literally happened to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So I said enough, and I said I was done, and I chose to celebrate a path of, you know, acceptance, discovery, love. Yeah. And that's what I like to do with other people. Those are people I like to celebrate, the people whose stories I like to have on the podcast.
Yeah. Love that.
And that's been my journey.
Very cool.
So good.
That's wild. Have you noticed that, is there much of that pressure as well in the comedy world?
It's a little bit different in the comedy world, and it's still kind of tied into, I think, like your body and how you present as a woman. I've been told to be less feminine. I've been told for a long time I was wearing jeans, combat boots, flannels. That felt kind of inauthentic to me, but people would say they'll look at your body and they won't listen to your jokes. You'll never be successful because someone's girlfriend in the crowd will be threatened by you, and you'll never grow. Or people won't pay attention to you, or they will for the wrong reasons.
Right.
And then also people tell you like to shy away from like anything that could be, you know, construed as like visually sexual, even though comedians go up on stage and we talk about like the grossest stuff.
Totally.
But if you wear a bikini, they're like, oh, don't do that. Don't be like that girl. There's a lot of like internalized like judgment, misogyny, I think.
Yeah.
Because that community is so male skewed.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of aspects of that, but no, in comedy, it wasn't like people were
different.
telling me to be tiny.
Right.
Like,
hide your femininity.
yeah.
Wow.
hide your
Wow,
Like
body.
an opposite.
Yeah, what a weird
Yeah.
juxtaposition.
Oh my God.
Now
wow.
it's changing. I see more people like being more comfortable, like more women feeling more comfortable
Yeah.
being themselves and expressing
That's great,
through
though.
the way that they dress. Or
Yeah, for sure.
a lot more than I did maybe like 4 or 5 years ago. So I'm glad that the tide is turning.
Yeah. Thank God.
But it's crazy that you got it from both sides, being like, be thinner, and then it's like, but cover yourself
it up.
but
Yeah.
like be more feminine, but don't. Like,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
just that's insane.
Jesus.
What do I
know.
do?
Yeah, literally. How do you not get a complex
Yeah.
about
How do
over
you
that?
how do you reconcile that in your brain, I guess?
Yeah, and that's a really, really good question. I think that it just comes down to, like, you really can't do what other people tell you to do when it comes to, like, really anything in life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any personal decision with,
Unless your name's Gall.
right?
You should have them
Unless you have an astrologer
Yeah.
reading your birth chart, then listen to them.
Yeah. They know it all. That's pretty wild.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's true. You just have to like know what makes you feel confident and what you feel good in, and then celebrate that, because you really do shine from within. And so when you're happy with yourself, like, I mean, you are such a good example. Like, you just radiate beauty
And confidence.
and confidence.
Well
yeah.
done. Yes.
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 Oh my goodness.
Yeah, you really do.
And like, not even just like seeing you, but like on your podcast, you are such a positive, like bright person, and we're not even looking at your face. We're just hearing your voice, and we can still hear it. It's crazy.
Thank
It
you,
is.
guys.
It's real. It's real.
Really
It's true.
sweet. I feel the same way when I listen to your podcast. I feel
Well,
like
thank
when I listen, and we'll talk about this on the episode of Hot Pizza Acid we'll do, but I feel like you have this whole like family community vibe down with what you're doing, and it draws people in. It like connects me to you guys, and I thought that was so awesome, the things that you guys are doing too.
Oh my God.
Thank
you,
you.
Erin.
Yes.
So something I wanted to hear your perspective on, with being on stage, maybe on the actress side or all that. Like, my background is in dance. I grew up dancing, and now I am somewhat of a public figure in YouTube and online. And one of the biggest standout moments to me that like was really just like one of the most hurtful moments in my life was, I was at a national dance competition when I was a senior in high school, and it was honestly the smallest I had ever been, because I was so active in those like last couple of years of high school, because I did so much. I was like, I played sports and I danced and I was in show choir, and I didn't have time to eat. Not that I like wasn't eating, but just like I was burning so many calories because of all those things. And I was the smallest I had ever been. And we were at a dance competition, and we got the opportunity to audition for an agency out here in LA. And we went through like this audition process, and it was like whittled down all these girls, and it was me and a couple other girls at the end. And he stood us there, and he was like, all right, thank you for dancing. And he pointed at me, and he was like, can you sing? And I said, I lied. And I was like, yes.
She can sing though.
She can, guys.
But, you know, like.
Okay, I got it. Yeah, we know.
Yeah. And I was just like, yeah. I was like, is he going to make me sing right now? I'm so scared. But I just lied and said yes. And he goes, okay, have you ever thought about going to New York? And I was like, I love New York. Sure. Like, my young brain didn't know where he was going. And he was like, okay, well, like, we're the best in this today. Like, you were the best dancer. And I was like, wow, thank you so much.
What a great day.
And I was like, so I left that audition because they announced who got the agency, like, at the gala.
But then were you freaking out at all? Like, now I got to fucking learn how to sing.
I mean, at that time, I probably thought I was better actually than now I've come to realize like how not as good I am. But like at the time I was in show choir, so I was like, yeah, I can sing.
You can carry it. You can carry it to them.
But like, yeah, so we didn't find out about the agency until like in the evening.
Oh, got it.
When we had the gala and we did our performances again and whatever. So the whole rest of the day, I'm thinking, I got this. I'm about to get an agent. I'm about to move to LA. I'm about to be a dancer. I'm like, my dreams are coming true. So they announce it, and this like beautiful girl gets it, and she like they bring her on stage, and you're like, you are getting an agent. And I was devastated. And the gala's over, and I'm hysterically crying, and the guy comes up to me. He sees me crying, and he was like, look, I just want to let you know, like, you were the best dancer in that audition, but because of the way you look, I would never be able to book you a job. Oh my God. And he was like, so the reason I asked you about New York is if you can sing, like go try to audition for Broadway and see if you can get a role that like will fit your body type. But like, it's not going to happen for you in LA. And I just was hysterically crying. And that was the first time I had ever had someone tell me that the way I looked was like,
would directly affect what you wanted
was
to do
not,
with your
because my whole life, like whatever size I've been, like I've always just like, it's never affected me. Like it never hindered me in what I was doing. I never let it hinder me. But like, I was just always like, I'm doing this thing and I'm good at it, or I'm doing this thing and I'm okay at it. But like my weight, if anyone was talking about my weight, they weren't saying it to my face, and I wasn't giving them a reason to make it an issue. Because I was just like, I'm working hard and I'm good at it, so like it's fine. And that was the first time anyone had ever told me that my body was the problem and not like my talent will supersede what I'm trying to do. So that is now like after that moment, I was like, all right, well, my dream of being a professional dancer is over. I'm going to turn my sights to being a choreographer, which I love choreographing so much. But when I went to college, it was like, okay, well, you can't be a dancer, so you have to get good at producing and choreographing. And that ended up being my focus. And so it's so crazy now that my life has gone in these directions, and now I am a professional dancer living in
LA,
Hollywood. And like, I wish I could tell that person, I don't even know who it is, but like, I wish I could be like, hey, here I am. So it's very interesting to me, like your journey. Like, have you had like a realization like that to when someone said, no, this isn't going to happen for you, and then you've gotten it and you're like, in your face?
Kind of. I mean, I've had similar situations like that. Like it would happen to me a lot in the pageant world because
How long did you do pageants?
Well, I was a teen title holder, and I was trying to make it as like, I wanted to go to Miss California.
You wanted to go all the way up the ranks.
Yes, I wanted to win a preliminary because it's expensive.
I
wanted to win a prelim, and I wanted to go. But I was Miss Teen San Francisco. I was Miss Teen California. Like I won preliminary pageants as a teen contestant. Jeez. The Miss Teen California did not have a swimsuit, and I guarantee you that's why I won.
Really?
Yes, because I'm a good public speaker, and I can speak the shit out of that pageant.
Yeah.
I won the scholarship pageant.
Oh, hell yeah.
I didn't win the one with the swimsuit, but
that's so stupid too. Like, get out of here.
Right, especially for teen contestants.
My
It's
God.
disgusting.
Also,
Did you do a swimsuit?
I won Miss Hawaiian Tropics in Canada when I was 8. Like
8 years old.
I was wearing a swimsuit as in
like bikini.
Yeah, but my mom also made me come out in a giant pineapple.
Okay, living, and I need a picture.
I would love to see this, Jackie. We need proof.
If you're listening,
we know that
and we know that you are.
Please find that giant pineapple. I've asked her so many times to find that photo, but I tried to destroy it as a child because I was so embarrassed.
Oh my gosh!
But
so there's a bikini under the pineapple?
Yes.
Oh God.
It was like there was a pineapple, and then it was like a giant one made out of like memory foam, and then a cut hole for my little head.
Oh,
and
not
then,
what I was picturing.
And then there was like gold sequins around, and so I like stuck my head in, and it was like this beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah, but it was like scratchy to my cheeks, I remember. And then there was like a little handle on the side that was like Velcroed, and so I held on to it and like walked
Waddled
down
out
because I didn't have any arms. I was just a pineapple. I like walked out, and then at the top tee, I would like burst out and then be like a 8-year-old in a bikini.
Oh,
if that's not a Halloween costume for you coming up,
Chloe,
that is a missed opportunity.
Wow,
it's true. Can you imagine?
No,
I would love it.
It's wild.
But yeah, so disgusting. Continue.
Yeah. So when I was trying to transition to adult pageants, it's a little more competitive, and you know, people have a certain body type a lot of the times when they're competing. I've never like really fit into that unless I extreme diet and exercise. And when I say extreme, I mean 3 hours a day. I mean, I was getting sports injuries. Like I'm not an athlete, you know? It was wild. Like the amount that I was eating or not eating is probably the better way to describe it.
Yeah.
It was incredibly toxic, super unhealthy, just bad. And I remember I competed in this one pageant, and the judge, who actually she was like a former Miss California who is now an actor. And if I ever run into her, I probably will tell her this.
Yeah.
I'm sure I'll cross paths with her one day.
Please do.
One of the other judges knew me personally, so I found out that she said this about me, but she said, "Oh, Erin, you know, she's amazing. If she had the right body, she could win the whole thing."
The right body.
The right body.
Ugh, it's disgusting.
Newsflash, lady, you do have the right body.
You do. And I would love for you to walk up to that woman
Oh,
and tell
God.
her.
Be like, do I have the right body yet? You think so?
That is,
Yeah.
how old were you? Around like what age did you find that out?
I probably was like 22.
Damn.
That's
Yeah.
like prime
Yeah.
self-esteem
Yeah.
plummet
Yeah.
years.
Yeah, the right body. That was pretty gross to hear.
Yeah.
It definitely hurt, because then I was like, then what do I have?
Right.
You know, the wrong body.
I gotta, okay, so I guess this is a 2-part question. So back to yours for a second. What do you think the motivation in telling you that would have been?
I don't know, because he clearly could have just never said anything. I guess I
Did he think he was
misspoke. He did
helping
not
you?
tell me I
I
was
think
the best dancer during the audition. Like that isn't, I didn't misspoke that. He's told it to me when he walked up to me after and saw me upset. So he could have literally
Just
just
let it
been
go.
like, I'm sorry, like you weren't the best dancer. I could have taken that. I would have been like, okay, like that is constructive criticism. And I would have been like, I wasn't the best dancer. That's
So you-
totally fine.
No,
he literally
I truly think it was.
He thought he was
trying
helping
to,
you.
trying to help
Like,
you.
tough
Yeah.
love,
Yeah,
buddy.
But yeah, I think that's
something.
exactly what it was, because
Yeah.
he also has probably never experienced body issues,
Right.
And so he didn't realize how harmful that was going to be.
Well, and looking back, because if I look back at pictures of that time, like that, I mean, I thought I was so big, and I would kill to look like that now, which is not like a positive self-talk, but like.
Yeah.
That's just like what happens. You look back at yourself at those times and you're like, I can't believe that I thought that I was as big as I thought I was
Right.
when my body has changed now as an adult. And like, that was, I mean, it wasn't the smallest I'd been, and it wasn't due to extreme dieting. It was due to just eating normally, but like I was so
Incredibly
active and I
active.
had a better metabolism at the time. But like, yeah, I'm sure that he did think that he was helping me, and it really did not help me. And even now, like it's hard for me being on the internet, because anyone that wants to say anything can, and especially when I'm a backup dancer, and when I'm not the like center of attention in the video. So I feel like people sometimes think that like I'm not a real person when they
sure.
comment on the YouTube videos where we're dancing, and they're like, oh, the girl on the right,
Yeah.
something negative about me. Or like I was just telling Alex earlier, we go live on TikTok sometimes now when we're rehearsing before our live streams, and TikTok has the worst comments. I mean, YouTube kind of does to an extent, but I found that TikTok seems to have the worst. Like when you go live on a TikTok account, it's getting pushed to people who don't follow you necessarily. And people have said really terrible things to me. One time someone, we were rehearsing, and I like looked down at the phone to like see some of the comments, to just be like, hey guys, what's up? Like, thanks for hanging out with us.
Engaging.
And all I saw was someone needs to eat a salad. And I
my
was
God.
like, that'll be it. What's that TikTok? Well, that'll be it for me. So like now I don't even look when we are going live on
Yeah,
TikTok. I'm just like, I'm dancing, I'm practicing, and I can't engage with you because it's very negative. And it's, I mean, I cannot say that it doesn't affect me, because it 100% does, especially like being on stage and having to take pictures and having to post them on Instagram. Like that really wasn't why I got into the business that I'm in, like I just wanted to dance, and I didn't. Being an influencer has to happen with what we do. Like I have to be present on the internet and post about myself, but that is like not fun for me because there's so many people saying negative things. So
then over to you, having gotten that information from someone that you knew who didn't necessarily have to share that with you, do you feel like you're like glad that you found that out, or did it do more harm than good?
What I realized is that everyone is running a business, and that pageant is a business, and the person that told me is directly involved in the business.
Okay.
For me to get information like that is basically saying, you lost for this reason. Come try again. Improve yourself and try again. Stay in the system. Give us more money.
thought of it that way.
Yeah. There's an economy to like everything. And I think that if the more you're aware of that, it's like, what else were they going to say? You were fantastic and amazing. And you don't need this, Erin. Which is what someone should have said.
Yeah.
You don't need this, actually.
Yeah.
Man, that is super interesting to think about.
Yeah. Did you have similar experiences? I'm sure you must have, right?
Luckily, I got out of the pageant circuit like right around puberty. So I didn't really have to deal with like, my changing body inside of a microscope, So I'm really lucky in that aspect. My like body image or like someone being like that to me started more in high school with boyfriends. Like I wasn't really in the public eye. I didn't do dance or theater or anything, but I did have a boyfriend.
I was going to ask too you if because you know how we grew up in our family, at least, and I don't know if maybe this was just the sign of the times or if it was just if you guys experienced this as well, but like our family was big into diet cultures. Like Atkins
diet.
They would go into the Maker's diet.
Yep.
It's the Lord's diet.
Yeah. The
and
Daniel
they would go
diet.
hard.
Isn't that another Jesus diet?
It might be. I just know my parents did the Maker's
It's
diet.
a very religious name.
Wait, I want to know what that is.
All I remember is a lot of fish.
Yeah.
But it was like
Baker's
a
dozen.
curriculum. It was like a class they had to take.
And like
Fish, bread, and wine.
Probably.
But no wine.
No wine, Erin. No wine. Not in the Christian house.
Right.
But yeah, my dad was always doing low carb Atkins, and
even our grandma, she was always drinking a Slim Fast for a lot of our youth. Yeah.
Or the Snackwells.
Yes, the
Do you remember
Snackwell devil
those?
cakes.
Oh,
The devil cakes.
my
I still
God.
think
The
that
green
those are
box.
probably good, right?
Yeah.
I actually do kind of like them.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Because they're not as sweet.
It's true.
And
It's
the
true.
texture, they're like kind of spongy.
Yeah, like cakey.
I kind of
a little
miss
spongy
them
cake.
now.
Should we all go and
Get
get
one?
some?
Wait, do they make them?
so?
They have
Yeah.
to.
You think? I can taste it right now.
If you know, comment below.
I'm just gonna look real
good.
quick.
But yeah, so you guys experienced that as well? Like, were your families big into diet culture and like diet fads? I guess it's like diet fads.
I feel like my sister and I went through maybe some of those. Not necessarily my parents, but like I feel like maybe from friends or from
Like friends' parents?
or just like
relatives.
other people. Like we're gonna try this. We're
I
gonna
see.
eat cottage cheese. And like, you know what
We're
I mean?
going to do the
Wasn't that a
cabbage
thing, the
diet.
cottage cheese diet?
I
I
think
feel like
so.
it was.
I think so.
Some fast was in the house, and
It you can buy Snackwell's Devil's Food cookie cakes at Walmart.
oh, we were just there.
We were
could've got
literally
some
just there.
Today?
Today.
today.
Missed
Major fail.
opportunity.
It
Major
was.
fail.
But yeah, like our like my mom was always on a diet. Both of my grandmas, like my one grandma would always have a diet caffeine-free Coke and be talking about her diet. And like I never really like dealt with any body issues. Like growing up, I was always like a really like thin kid. But then in high school, I like was going through some stuff, and I like gained some weight, and I still wasn't by any means like a bigger. I don't know. Like I was just probably this size right now, and my boyfriend at the time made me sign a contract saying that I would never weigh more than what I did right then.
Whoa.
He made me sign something.
I'm sorry.
What?
Not
Yeah,
good.
he said that I could never weigh over 150 pounds
Immediately no.
as a 5'9"
Immediately get out.
person. Yeah.
That's so
And-
weird.
And
Why?
I stayed with him. And
well, that's not your fault. That's just
yeah. But no, it was always kind of that, not really like a stranger saying it to me, but like someone that I love saying it to me, which it kind of is. I mean, they both have their own flaws, but I would rather be told it by a stranger, I think.
Did that
gross.
cause any sort of eating disorder within you, or was it more just like body negativity?
Hundo P.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's when I started. I think I told you, if you're ever hungry, just chug a bunch of water,
Chloe.
and your stomach will be full.
I hear that in my head all the time. I think I literally just jokingly said it to Allison or Ramiro the other day.
I don't know that I've heard you guys say that, but I've definitely heard people say that before. Like, like 90% of the time you think you're hungry, you're actually just thirsty, which could be true. The delivery might just be different.
Yeah.
Like maybe like just in general, just drink more water instead of that.
It's good practice.
Yeah.
If it is a fact, like it the delivery does something to your brain.
Yeah. But no, I told Alex that.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was that time that I was like just eating hot sauce packets to like feel flavor on my tongue, but I wasn't eating. Oh, no. And I would go to the gym constantly, like 2 times a day. Like you said, like I was getting like tendinitis and like shin splints and stuff because I was doing so much cardio with literally nothing in my body, but like I was getting attention. And so I really like enjoyed it, and it really like fed into that negativity and like bad body practices, and it was just not a very fun time.
I'm interested to see, Erin, how you feel, because we are in these formative years where people like Lizzo are featuring dancers. Like she has a show coming out now that is like her finding dancers, and she's specifically like, which I could have auditioned for, I should have, but I can't twerk, so
you could learn.
But like, yeah, it feels like these years are formative, where we're going through this transition of people like actually that have power standing up, and especially her to say like, no, I want to pick my dancers, and I want to pick them based on how like I just like want my dancers to be in whatever size they are. Like I just want them to dance how I want them to dance and however way they look. And so I'm interested to see, like, are there any other people that you feel like are really pushing in that other direction that you see as a positive influence in that space?
I feel like the influencer space, we're seeing more and more. I remember when like Instagram was just a place where we shared like food and our pedicure color that we got that month. Right. And then around 2014, 2015, we started seeing influencer space happen, right? Mm-hmm. And Instagram is a top 5 global important app. Mm-hmm. And we saw like all the small fashion-y bloggers, right? And then it changed. It diversified. 2016 and on, I feel like specifically, we're seeing like a lot of other body types and different types of people being elevated rather than just the skinny white girl.
It's
you
true.
know?
Yeah, it's true.
So I think like Instagram has actually played a really positive role. And, you know, also on the other side, like I'm so hesitant to say this because I think that these people are very problematic too. But I do think that the Kardashians have played a role just in their enormous popularity of creating a body type that is something that we're seeing more as desirable. That's not, again, a skinny white girl, you know? And it's hard for me to say because there's a lot of issues there.
Yeah, because they've clearly had plastic surgery and
they don't
BBLs
talk about it and they deny it, and that's all not good. Just own up to what you do.
But at least it's curvier than the cocaine, like the coke,
the Nicole Richie, the Paris Hilton. That body type is what we had our formidable years.
Yeah, the models
at and
that
idolizing. So I think that there is a lot of like positive change. If I hit this microphone stand one more time, I'm going to chop my hand off. So I think that, like how you said, you know, the change is really like within. What are some things that we could help like educate people on in this kind of space? Like, how do we heal ourselves internally?
Yes, please tell me.
I can tell you what worked and what helped for me. Part of it was getting out of industries or competitions or whatever that were so heavily focused on my physical appearance. You know, I became a comedian and a writer, and those things are great. I mean, that my background is in journalism anyway.
Yeah.
Like, why was I putting so much pressure on myself to fit into this role that wanted to just judge me by what I look like in a bikini, you know?
Yeah.
So I found other ways around achieving my goals, which was super helpful and healthy for me personally. And then also, I think just healing my relationship with food was really big, because I was a binge eater and bulimic for periods of time. But all of that was a lot about shame and hiding, because I felt like there were certain things that I couldn't eat, and then I would eat a lot of it, and then I'd feel awful and like, you know, purge. Getting in that cycle had to do with so much of like thinking that there was foods that were good and bad. So I think like having a more food neutral,
no food is bad. Just
positive like relationship with food, and not being afraid of certain things, and not being like measuring out how much olive oil or butter I was using in a pan or stressing out about it. I was a constant MyFitnessPal calorie counter.
Oh yeah.
Stopping that
helped.
Yep.
Deleting anything like that was really helpful for me. And then also just kind of being aware of what I am consuming on social media, because there are great people to follow, and there are inspirational, you know, pages that help me and make me feel good about myself. And there's things that don't. And I also used to have shame about that, thinking like, oh, well, that's my problem, or, you know, I'm jealous of something. It's like, no, bitch, it's just making you feel bad. Unfollow.
I think that's a big thing. Like, it is okay to delete your Instagram for a while and then come back to it when you're feeling in a better place. Like, taking social media breaks, I did, and I felt so much better about myself.
Just unfollowing people that don't serve you or don't or that make you feel a certain way, or and following people that make you feel safe and that believe in the same things as you do and inspire you in either the way that they carry themselves or inspire you in other ways that don't have anything to do with body and food.
100%. And the other thing that I thought that I do kind of want to briefly mention, but it's something I decided to not do. I had a therapist who I was speaking to about a lot of things, and he asked me or suggested, have you ever thought about going to therapy for this? And I thought about it, and I had an initial meeting and a consultation with this therapist, and I realized, no, this is not for me. I don't want to identify with this to the point where I'm like thinking about it every single week. I feel like that's going to be triggering for me.
Okay.
I want to stay in regular therapy. I don't want to go to an eating disorder specialist. I actually feel like I've done a lot of work and I've healed like that chapter of my life, even though I know it still affects me.
Yeah.
And so I said no to that. So I think also just listening to your inner guidance and knowing like what's going to be triggering to you, and like maybe reading all the books or going to a specialist like isn't right for every person.
Yeah.
And
Very
as long
true.
as you're in like a mature space where you've really thought about it, considered it, done your own homework and research about like what would actually make you feel better, saying no to certain things like that too, I think is totally okay.
That's important.
Yeah.
That's good.
That's good.
Yeah, definitely.
Wow. Well, Erin, thank you so much for being on the pod today. It was amazing.
Thank you guys for having
Sorry for
me
having
so
to stop
much.
so much.
Yeah.
No,
You know,
it's
dogs.
Also, our shirts all together remind me of a wild berry Pop-Tart.
Oh, I love that.
Very cute.
Sounds great.
It's so true.
Reminds me of New Orleans.
Where can people find you?
Yeah, where can people find you, Erin?
What would you like to plug?
You guys can find me Hot Pizza's podcast on Instagram. I'm Darling with 4 H's, DAHHHHLING. Popspiracy, which is only available on Spotify, and yeah, that's about it, really.
Amazing. We will definitely have those tags in the show notes. But Erin, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And be sure to head over to Hot Pizza Ask, because sometime around now will be our pod swap episode, and you might see some familiar faces over there.
Yeah.
Here. So here, see, we'll see. Anyway, thank you, Erin. Really
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Thank you, Erin.
All right, everyone. I'm Alex.
I'm Chloe.
I'm Allison.
And this is Traumedy. Bye.
Bye.
When I laugh to get through it, don't feel bad for me. That's just my traumedy.